After over a year of Tidal Wave being the hardest beaten level in the game, 2 potential top 1s were verified within a few hours of each other yesterday. The first of the 2 to be verified was Thinking Space 2, a much anticipated mega collab project, verified by Zoink. Then shortly thereafter, Amethyst was verified by W Popoff, another much anticipated level that's been in the making for several years. So naturally, it seems like a lot of people are asking which one of these is going to be harder than the other, because there is a good chance that both of these are harder than Tidal Wave. So today we'll go over the emerging contest between these two, and how this will probably continue to affect Grief's verification. Firstly, there's the question of whether either of these levels will get rated, which is still needed for a level to be placed on the list. And I'm kinda optimistic on this, I feel like both these levels will probably get rated fairly soon, but given some recent controversy about mods apparently being very polarized against top play, I could see it just taking longer for basically no reason. However, at the same time, the Demon List is already considering making a change to implement some sort of new system in order to include unrated levels in the Demon List. So my guess is they'll either be rated pretty soon, or they won't be, and then eventually the Demon List will just place them anyways. Because even though the conversation around this kind of change in the Demon List has been mostly facilitated because of Grief, and the fact that Doggy is using Clicks Between Frames, which is a mod to verify it, it also applies to these levels as well, even if there's no tangible reason for either of these to remain unrated. So at the very least, I think we can look forward to a situation that's less messy than the rating of Tidal Wave, because no matter what, I don't think it's going to matter as much. I hope to not eat those words. In terms of whether or not Amethyst is harder than Tidal Wave, it's pretty clear. It's been in the works for a while to be top 1. Originally, Trick was verifying it, and then he handed it off to W Popoff. Trick had already buffed Amethyst pretty significantly because it was meant to be harder than Tidal Wave, but also maybe hard enough to rival Grief, at least to some extent, in case that got verified before Amethyst. But then he gave it to W Popoff, who made relatively quick work of it, and also added even more buffs to the level, so it's probably top 1 by a fair margin, at least in comparison to Tidal Wave. And then meanwhile, we have Thinking Space 2, which I will just be calling TS2 for the rest of this video because it's incredibly funny. I know there's a lot of people who already don't like TS2 for a variety of reasons, so if you guys could all just say TS2 PMO, I would really appreciate that. Which was originally meant to be like top 5, however, it's also a Zoink verification. Keep in mind, Zoink verified Nullscapes and said it was probably around 15 or something, and it ended up being top 2, so there is a really good chance that this is just really, really difficult. And considering Zoink has already said it's like top 1 to 5, it might just be top 1, like harder than Amethyst top 1. So, I don't know. We'll see. It is kind of funny to think that in a contest between 2 potential top 1s, neither of them is a red level, and neither is Tidal Wave. So that's cool, I guess. Also, fun fact, if TS2 ends up being the next top 1, then it will be the 4th consecutive top 1 verified by Zoink, after Acheron, Avernus, and Tidal Wave, which is really insane. So I understand the sentiment behind wanting to see someone else verify a top 1 for once, considering that W Popoff hasn't gotten the same recognition that Zoink has, despite being a similarly skilled player. Personally, between these 2 levels, I think I'm Team Amethyst, but I'm not exactly a complete hater of TS2 yet. I've kind of said all I need to say in terms of how much I like Amethyst, like way back in 2023. I think it has a lot of unique theming, and the fact that it's kind of structured like the Golden, but is completely original in many respects is really cool to me. And don't get me wrong, I think the decoration in Thinking Space 2 is still pretty impressive, but it doesn't really have necessarily much of a theme, so it's hard for me to appreciate it outside of, well, that looks kind of cool. Also, it was verified by Zoink, and the gameplay is modeled after Thinking Space, so I feel like Amethyst would probably play better. Not to say I'm even close to the skill required to beat either of these. These are both massive achievements no matter what, but like, come on, I feel like that's probably pretty obvious. But yeah, anyways, I'm Team Amethyst, I guess, mostly for Popoff's sake, but I don't completely despise TS2 or anything. It's not a zero-sum game. Other than these 2 levels, the other really difficult level that will also probably be top 1, that has been in the works and being currently verified, is of course Grief. And I'm gonna be honest, I think there's a really good chance this will get verified soon. At least while I was tuned into Doggy's stream yesterday, he was getting pretty consistently far into the level. I saw Poltergeist tweeted out something that I was already thinking, which was just saying that Doggy's probably going to make some buffs to Grief because of this, just in case, considering that Tidal Wave might be top 3 by the end of this. And then Doggy replied, clarifying that he actually has made a few buffs to the level. I don't know if you guys have seen the before and after pictures of Doggy with Grief, but this man has aged visibly a decade in like a year, so he might only have like a month left or something of this verification, but I hope he's okay. That's it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below which level you want to be top 1, even if we don't really have much of a choice in the matter. We're all just waiting for the white smoke to be released from the chimney at Demon List headquarters. If you enjoyed today's video, then don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Stay safe, everyone.